My name is Rick Lemansky with Simasko Law Offices. If you're watching this video today, it's because you or a loved one are receiving VA benefits and you received in the mail around January an Eligibility Verification Report, or what we call an EVR. VA requires this form to be completed so they can continue to pay your benefit. They want to confirm your current medical expenses. If your expenses have gone up, your benefit could increase, unless you're receiving the maximum that they would pay out to you already. And if your expenses go down, your benefit could be decreased. So it's very important that you fill out this form correctly. The purpose for this video today is to help you with this form. And today we're going to talk about the EVR form for the surviving spouse. I'm going to go through the form step by step. The form comes to you partially completed, and when we get to the spots that the VA will have filled out already, I will let you know where they are. But we'll go down the form line by line. The form will come with your name and address on it, obviously, your VA file number listed, and we'll go right to Section 1. Section 1 asks for your Social Security number. VA will have a number in there already. It should be your Social Security number. On line 1B, they ask for the veteran's Social Security number. You must confirm that these two numbers are correct. If they're not correct, put a line through them and write in the correct number next to them. Section 1C asks, are they correct? You must check the box yes or no accordingly. Box 1D asks for your date of birth. If you're a surviving spouse, VA wants to confirm your date of birth, so you must fill that out. Section 2 asks for your marital status. It gives you three choices. The first choice is, I have not remarried since the veteran died. That's typically the box that spouses are checking. If you did remarry, you must tell them that you remarried and on what date. Box 2. Box 3, I remarried after a veteran died, but the marriage ended by death or divorce on whatever date. Line 4 asks if you are a patient in a nursing home. This is only for people who are residents at a nursing home. If you live in assisted living, it is not a nursing home, only nursing home patients. So typically the answer to 4A is no. 4B wants to know the date that you entered the nursing home. That is NA, not applicable. 4C, they want the name, phone number, address of the nursing home. Again, NA, not applicable. And on 4D, they want to know if Medicaid covers all or part of your nursing home cost. If during the year you became a resident at a nursing home, you must list that date and you must let them know if you're on Medicaid and whether Medicaid is paying the bill. Section 5, did you receive any wages or were you employed at any time during the year? The answer is typically no. If you were employed, you must mark yes. Section 6, and the last section on the first page, do you receive any other VA benefits as a veteran, parent, or surviving spouse? Those are additional benefits other than what you're currently receiving. If you flip the page over, Section 7A wants to know about your monthly income. VA will have on line 1 the amount of Social Security you receive. The amount that they post is your gross amount. It is before they take out $99.90 for Medicare. So I know that number is going to look like it's too much, but that is the amount that you get. They want the gross amounts of any monies that you receive. The next line is for U.S. civil service, if you were a civil servant. If you worked for the U.S. Railroad and you're receiving retirement. If you receive military retirement. And then there are two lines for other. The two lines for other are typically if you're receiving a pension, that's where you would put the pension amount in. And again, you put in the gross amount that you're receiving from the pension. In Section 7A, all lines must be completed. If there are zeros, they must be filled out with zeros. Do not leave any lines blank on this form. Section 7B, they want to know about your annual income. They want to know about your income for the previous year, and they want to know what you project your income to be for the next year. This is only to be filled out if you are working. They ask on the first line, gross wages from all employment. Usually it's 0. I do have a veteran, and I'll give you an example, a veteran who is 93 years old who works 32 hours a week at Walmart. He must put in those wages for this past year and for the year coming up. If you did not work, 0 goes in that box. The next line asks for total interest and dividends. You must put down the amount of interest you receive from any interest-bearing savings or checking accounts, and you put in how much you received for the last year. For the year coming up, you just approximate that number. I usually put in about the same number because the interest rates don't change that much and the numbers are typically the same. The third line says all other, and they want the sources of your income. And the fourth line also says all other. Those are both zeros. You don't have additional income, you don't expect income. If you may be expecting an inheritance, that's how you would put that information down. Or if you received income from an investment property or, again, inheritance income. Section 7C, they want to know if any income changed during the year. You check the box typically no, but if income did change, you drop down to 7D and they ask what income changed. If nothing changed, you put in NA, but if you got an increase in a pension amount or a decrease in a pension amount, you must list that your pension changed. And they want to know on Section 7E, when did it change? You have to list the date. 7F, how did it change? You write a quick note in there that my pension was reduced or my pension was increased. Section 7G wants you to list your net worth. The first line is cash in non-interest-bearing bank accounts. You list what you have in a non-interest-bearing bank account. If you have nothing, you put 0. Again, no line can be left blank. Interest-bearing bank accounts, you write the amount in there. The third line are IRAs, KEO plans, and etc. You write in the amount there. The fourth line, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, you write in the amount there. The last one is real property that's not your home. That would be if you own an investment property or if you own a vacation property somewhere, you have to put the amount of the value of that. And then all other property that you may own. In the typical form that we fill out, usually the first two lines, cash and non-interest-bearing bank accounts or an interest-bearing are what are filled out. Someone may have a small IRA or a KEO, or you may have a mutual fund. You list that on those other lines. But do not leave a line blank. It must be 0. If you do not have an investment, you put 0. Section 8, family medical expenses. The VA will list the year that you're receiving this form for, and they will say, according to their records, they show that your expenses are X. In my example that I have in my hand, this surviving spouse had medical expenses of $31,205 for the year. A lot of people don't realize that the cost of your assisted living community is counted as a medical expense. I have seen medical expenses that are as high as $55,000 or $60,000 in a year. And that's what we list on your application when we apply for the benefit. So just understand that that number may seem higher than what you think, but that number includes your Medicare deduction, anything you're paying for your insurances, your prescription costs, and the cost of your assisted living community, or the cost of your in-home care that you're paying for. So if you agree with that number is very close to or exactly on how much you spent in the current year, then you would write that down on line B. And then they ask you to project the amount of your expenses for the upcoming year. That's line C, and that's typically the same as line B. We just estimate that they're going to be the same. If those numbers are very similar to what the VA stated, then you do not need to complete a medical expense report. If those numbers are significantly different, there will be a medical expense report with your EVR form that you need to complete. If you read section D, it tells you that if your amount is equal to what VA says, then you do not need to fill out the medical expense report, but VA could ask for that report at a later date. Section 9, surviving spouse's educational and vocational rehab expenses. The box there is always 0. That is for a younger veteran who might still be working and receiving benefits and is paying for vocational or rehab expenses. But typically we don't have anything in that box and it's 0. The next line is where the veteran or the spouse needs to sign. List your daytime phone number and the date signed, and that's it. That's how you fill out an EVR. You can find completed examples of these forms in the link below. Please compare the completed examples to your form, complete your form, and send it back to the VA by the date that they're asking for it. There is a deadline to this form, and we want to get the responses back to the VA as soon as possible. If after looking at our examples, you still have a question, please feel free to call our office at 586-468-6793. Ask for the VA department, and we'll make sure the form is completed to the VA satisfaction.